Hey friends, good afternoon. 1:30 p.m. here in New York City on Wednesday, January 25. And we're walking into Engineers Gate here at Central Park. Little daytime stream today because, as you can see, it's raining, but it also appears to be snowing a little bit. The beautiful wintry mix. John Perry Mitchell, former mayor of the city of New York. Beautiful memorial, which must mean we are at the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. Paul Greenwell, good to see you. Ethan G, it's coming down as we speak, but it's probably not, it's still too warm. It's 40 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's not going to stick, but it looks to me like a little bit is coming down. So it must be cooler in the clouds. Donna's here, good to see you. This is the beautiful Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir here in Central Park. I thought it would be pretty quiet up here so we could get the rain sounds. And we'll see if we get any snow. My phone said this is snow. I would call it wintry mix, a little bit of snow and a little bit of rain. Squish, squish, ASMR. Some beautiful birds circling the reservoir. And let me point the camera south to 59th Street so you can see just shadows, the buildings down there. I think we're going to head west to the pool, see if we can find our redhead duck again. I heard he was here at the reservoir for a little bit, but that he moved back to the pool. So maybe we'll see if he's over there. Sean's here from Winnipeg. Just finished a 10-mile run. Congrats. It's awesome. It's a serious run. Rainy day here in Central Park, so we'll probably have it largely to ourselves, except for those brave folks joining us. But we'll head towards the west. We'll see if we can find our duck, and then we'll just walk around the park, I think. Lizzie's here, good to see you. And I'm trying to pay attention to the reservoir because I heard there's some really beautiful ducks here in the reservoir with some interesting colors. So if we spot them. Of course, we're doing the thing today where one hand has the camera and the other hand has the umbrella because of the rain/snow that's coming down. So it's going to be a little tricky to zoom and such. But we'll do the best that we can. It's kind of why I want to go to the pool, because you can get a little closer to the ducks. Joanna's here, good to see you. Lynn, hope everybody's doing well today. Gonna have another rain sounds walk here in Central Park. And some of what's coming down is some of the early snow. It's not gonna stick because it's 40 degrees outside, but we can watch it come down and enjoy the sights and the sounds. Mr. Romachek is here. It's been a long while. Adam says, hey Sean, everyone in the chat, nice rainy Wednesday for a stroll. Yep. We're gonna have hopefully some nice sounds for you guys. Hopefully one of our more relaxing walks today. Mr. Romachek, how are things going? Can we get a job update? To the extent you would like to share. Matilde is here. Very good to see you. A good afternoon, a good evening to everybody, wherever you may be. Adam says, job is going great, really like it. Hey, that's awesome to hear. We're super happy for you. Darlene says, we had snow, now it's turning into some rain. And then another snowstorm hitting overnight. Can you remind us where you are, Darlene? So far this season, I got another weather update that we still have not had, quote, measurable snow, meaning even though we've had some flurries and some snowflakes falling, it melts by the time, oh, check this out, check out these views. But it melts by the time it hits the, oh, wow, beautiful. Yeah, these are some of the colorful ones. Sorry, I'm not really able to zoom in. My hands are full because of the umbrella. Oh, but they're so good looking. Look at those colors. Darlene is in Ohio. Yeah, they're just kind of hanging out today. And again, in the distance is 59th Street and the skinny little towers of Billionaires Row on 57th Street. Over here are the twin towers of the El Dorado overlooking the reservoir. Matilde is waiting snow in Quebec. Welcome to our friends from Quebec. Yeah, this is like a slush here because it's still too warm. But as I walk around, there are some noticeable flakes falling. We're all so anxious for real snow so that we don't just get this muddy path, but something rather more beautiful to look at. So we'll cut through over here, start heading towards the pool. It's going to be a very quiet day here in the park, so hopefully we'll get some very nice rain sounds for you guys to relax to. Hopefully you have a nice cup of coffee, tea. As we explore the park. RJ's here, checking in from the Colorado contingent. Good to see you. Ooh, more ducks, close up. Oh, I spooked them. Oh no. Sorry, ducks. I think the mud sounds are a little loud. But beautiful. Oh, look at them standing up. Gorgeous. But yeah, it's so quiet over here. There's not many people, so I think my footsteps are a little noisy. Clomp, clomp. How are things in Colorado, RJ? Can we get a snow update? It's really pretty here. These are the north gate houses for the reservoir. Beautiful. Adam says this weather's making me crave something hearty like a cheesy chicken and rice casserole. Yeah, no kidding. And for some reason, our kiddo's having, meaning he's not really sleeping overnight, so my brain is like totally toast. And I just looked down and realized I have a glove on one hand but not on the other. So maybe, I guess the phone's just gonna have to get wet. Let me just put the phone down for a second. Put the glove on my other hand. Whew, losing my mind. Let's see, how do I point this so that the rain doesn't get on it? On the cameras, at least. Oh. Ooh, I'm just looking at my coat. All right, we're now gloved on both hands. That was silly. Let me just figure out what I'm doing here. There we go. Looking at my coat, which does indeed have snow on it. Maybe a little hard to tell on the camera, but I can confirm it is both rain and snow. Ambrose says wet clothes don't do much anyways. Well, you're not wrong, but we do have our umbrella, so hopefully they'll help a little bit for a while. Long enough for our walk. Or some part of it. I love this little bridge. It's really beautiful. Good to see you, Ambrose. Hope all's well. Anybody just joining, we're going to head west a little bit, head towards the pool and see if we can see our redhead duck. But otherwise, just kind of a quiet afternoon here in Central Park for you guys. Hopefully a relaxing sort of walk. Let me turn this way slightly just so you can see the tennis courts. Sue K is here. wishing us well from Santa Fe. Rain and snow could be slippery. It sure could be. In fact, the bridge was a little slippery. But we will do our best. Rain or shine, the pups got to get their walks in, huh? Yeah, hopefully you can see. This definitely looks way more visibly like snow. But like I said, it's 40 degrees, so it's not going to stick. And so we still may not break our record of 300 plus days without measurable snow. I think the update I saw yesterday said we're now tied for second longest stretch with no snow. Measurable snow again, meaning it's got to get to the ground and stick. And as you can see, once it hits the ground, it just disappears. But it is pretty. Sean says in Winnipeg it's -4 Fahrenheit. Jeez. Trying to think what's the coldest I've ever been in. Probably something in Chicago. And a wonderfully generous $5 super chat from Gettysburg Ma'am. Welcome, Gettysburg Ma'am. Hello all, snowing here, about 3 inches. Hey. Well, hopefully we have some nice sounds to share with you. And thank you 5 times over. Appreciate your support. Ambrose says 1/10 of an inch qualifies. I guess a microscopic layer, though, does not. Yeah, Matilda, it's really beautiful here. And as you can see, we really do have the park to ourselves. We're gonna head over to the pool, and then we'll walk south where there could be more people. There should be at least a handful getting some exercise, walking their dogs and stuff. And the folks like me who just want to see the snowfall, even if it's not going to add up to anything. Adam asks us a very wise question: are we wearing boots? I have not broken the boots out yet, so not yet. Been meaning to, but as I was saying, we're having this little sleep regression issue at home. So I haven't been spending a ton of time doing those very logical things like changing the wardrobe. Let's go down this path, I think. No, let's go this way. Let's go this way. I had some boots on the other day, but it did not go well. So I gotta dig further into the closet. Something more comfortable. Wise words, Ambrose, wise words. One of these days I'll figure it all out. I know some folks use heated gloves now. The particular gloves I have on have spaces where you can put those little hot hands warmers, which I do have, so if it gets really cold, I'll try that out one of these days. I think fully electric is maybe a little, you know, one more thing to charge. One more thing to have to take care of. So we're here very close to Central Park West, and I can tell by the buildings this is the funny little space along Central Park West that has, of all things, a parking lot. One of the funniest sights I can imagine in New York City, probably the most valuable parking lot by virtue of the land that it sits on, possibly anywhere in the world. Central Park West parking lot. Why not? Gabe's got the heated ones. I was finally able to catch up on one of Gabe's streams live this week. It's been a long time. So I love that building right there at the corner. Makes me think of like Germany. Maggie's here. It's been a good long while since we saw you, Maggie. Hope all's well. We're headed to the pool to check out a duck. Very specific duck. The redhead drake. Supposedly he moved to the reservoir for a little bit, but came back to the pool, so I guess he seems to prefer the pool for whatever reason. So we'll see if we can find the guy. And Maggie says it's nice and snowy in central New York. Beautiful. I bet it's really pretty. Adam loves the park lampposts, a beautiful aesthetic. Yeah, I mean the beautiful old lamps, the park benches. Got a nice playground over here. This is a wonderful part of the park. So we're kind of at the northwest section of the park. The park goes to 110th on the north end, and I think that parking lot is around 100th Street, so we're pretty close to the north end of the park. Something like that. Alibaba's here. Let's see if our lamppost has the street number written on it. Some of them don't. Oh, this one does. 9907, so we're at 99th Street. So we're a pretty good guess. And here the pool is, right up ahead. Folly's here. Maggie's taking a much-needed study break with you and our duck friend. Hey, good to hear it. Yeah, hopefully the sounds are pretty relaxing for everybody. And the sight of the snow falling is very beautiful. I wish we had, piles of snow for you guys, but it's a work in progress this season. So here's what we're going to do. Right here on that little leafy path, we're going to head down, see if we can find our friend without slipping, or without slipping too much at least. Wonder if there will be any other photographers here today. Probably not too many. Ooh, it's really coming down. It sounds nice. And you also have the sound of the little waterfall to the right. Okay, let's go this way today. So the thing is, the ducks go all over the pond, so I don't know specifically where our friend will be. We'll just have to look around. It looks like a bunch are actually in the corner over there. So we may have to do a loop. And then just before I do that, I just want to see if there's... Let's do a quick pan around, see if we can spot where everybody is. Alright, I think that corner is going to be our best bet for now. Let's head that way. Adam says, I've always wondered how much professional dog walkers make in the city. Well, I'm sure the real answer is it depends, but if you Google it, you know, you can always find these articles talking about pretty serious amounts. But I imagine a lot of them work through agencies, which take a big cut. And there's probably a reason when you do see them that they're often with, you know, a huge number of them. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's pretty high. If you can, you know, get a reliable business going. All right, so we're just going to go around a little bit, and then there's fencing over here, so we have to get around the fence. Maggie would like us to do a highlight reel of all the dogs you see on their walks. We did a dog highlight video last year from a bunch of our snow walks. That was a fun one. I'll definitely try to do that again, because seeing the dogs in the snow, I have to tell you, is such a charming sight. Especially those first ones when they're like, what is this? Geisberg Mam says, my kiddo says you have a Bob Ross voice and will replay your videos to fall asleep to. I will take that as a grand compliment. Ooh, there's our duck. There he is. Okay, so there's like, let's say there's 20 ducks. He's on the far end, but he's leading the pack. We found him right away. I'm sorry, it's very hard for me to zoom in because I have gloves on and umbrella in one hand, camera in the other, so you'll just have to, if you're on your phone, it's probably impossible. If you're on your TV, the group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ducks, he's at the left. Leader of the pack now. He's leading the pack. We found him. And of course, I've spooked them and they're going right back to where I was. Perfect. You guys want to know something funny about ASMR? There's a, oh my gosh, umbrella's getting caught in everything. Probably look like an idiot right now. Do you guys know the podcast host Roman Mars? Does, I think 99% Invisible is one of his shows. I found an episode of a different series called like Slow Story. I'll have to find it for you guys. It's called like Slow Stories or something. And so he's got like a really deep voice. And in this Slow Stories podcast, he basically, I think he reads The Night Before Christmas. And he like really drags out every sentence and every word. Sort of like that. It's hysterical. I'll have to dig that up. Oh, you can hear them. So I'm going to go back around. I saw ABX is here. Good to see you. S Fields. Hello, friends. Yeah, it's a little bit of a what they like to call wintry mix. A little bit of rain, a little bit of snow, nothing sticking. Shiva's here, good to see you. Hopefully we have some nice good sounds for you guys. Yes, Fields, that is the key. Nothing has stuck yet. I'm even looking to see if I can find like the tiniest little section where something sticks, but no go. This is Glenspan Arch. Really beautiful. It's fun on a dry day to kind of hike around here. I'm not going to do it today for obvious reasons. But this is a really pretty area. And speaking of little bridges, look at this little one that we just walked across. All right, the ducks have made it back to this side. So we're gonna see if we can get a little closer to our redhead friend. And then we'll go explore the park. On this very rainy, sort of snowy winter day. Ryan Bell is here. This is one of my favorite areas. It's so peaceful over here. Let's see if we can find our friend. It does seem like I kind of spooked them on the other side. I'm really not trying to. Just trying to get a little image of him. I don't want to spook them. Really pretty though. Lynn is here. Daytona Beach, 84 today. Unbelievable. Dusty Cole's here. Good to see all of our friends. Thanks for tuning in. A little rainy afternoon stroll in the park. Hopefully we'll get some good views for you guys. Is that him? That might be him. If it is, he's all alone, so it'll be a little easier for you guys to see. Yep, there he is. So pretty. I know it's a little hard to see. It's pretty small on the screen, but that's our guy. Carol Woods is here. Let's see if he comes any closer to us, so you guys can get a little close up. Here's some close-up ducks. Really close. We're not going to move, not going to make any noises. I'm keeping him in the middle of the frame. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Roberto's here. Shiv asks, is this Central Park? Yes, this is the pool at Central Park. Look at this lovely bench. Imagine sitting there on a spring day. Let's read the plaque. Margaret Hawley, but if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, friends, we saw our duck. Let's head onto the drive and we'll start making our way south to some of the more familiar sites in the park. It's going to be a little bit since we're pretty far north, but we'll have a nice little rainy day stroll. Ambrose, thank you. Follow Bob Ross's voice. Happy little clouds. Happy trees. Duck. Pups. Sally's here. Roberto, yep, a lot of rain here. A little bit of snow still coming down, but just little chunky flakes. It's nice to walk in, though. Shiv asks, is the Imagine mosaic nearby? It's about a mile away, but we'll be heading in that direction, so we may go see the Imagine mosaic today. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, as Fields mentions, so the cost of a plaque on a bench, which is about 1 inch tall by 4 inches wide or so, is $10,000. I imagine maybe there's a little wiggle room there depending on the location, but 10,000 big ones. Gettysburg, no mistakes, just happy accidents. Adam says, Duck and Drive sounds like a new video game. Now imagine when it does start to stick, all of these trees getting covered in snow. This will be a fun walk. S. Fields, it's pretty serious. If that were somebody's Valentine's Day present, that is pretty serious stuff. College money. So we're gonna head south. We will eventually see the Imagine mosaic. And maybe we'll pop out and see the Dakota for a second. But other than that, not a lot on the itinerary today. We're just enjoying the park in the rain. A little bit of chunky snowflakes falling. Beautiful trees. Andrea Jordan's here. Good to see you. Ambrose says once it snows, everything becomes a Christmas card photo, especially here in the park. Maybe I'll do another one of those photo walks. So I'll have a camera filming the walk, and then I'll hold a second camera to take photos, and I'll kind of cut the photos into the video. We did that once before in spring, so maybe we'll try to do that during winter. If and when the snow comes for real. So we're on the West Drive. There's a series of drives that do a 6-mile loop in the park. There's also ways of, there's like runner's maps of Central Park, and you can use, there's some paths in the middle of the park, so you can turn a 6-mile loop into like a 3-mile loop and other things, depending on the distance you want to go and which parts of the park you want to see. But one of the last walks we did in the park was the full 6-mile loop. It's a really beautiful way to see everything. Nancy S., I trust you have your wellies on. No, we didn't break out the wellies yet. Just a big umbrella. That would have been wise, though. I gotta figure out my shoe situation. Lizzie says from Feb 6 to Feb 9, they expect the real thing will come down. I hope so. The problem is, like, it's hard to forecast here like a day in advance. Manhattan is so small, and something about the geography here, you know, like the harbor, the water, we are sort of a heat island, all this stuff adds up. It becomes very, very unpredictable to forecast on this little island. But I would like to see some real snow, so fingers crossed from this guy. So Adam's talking about his job, has a different environment, much better than what he's used to. Hey, that's good to hear. Adam started a new job not too long ago. We love to hear it. We want everybody to have great success and be happy with what they do. I always think it's funny when dogs have nice coats on. Oh, we're gonna see our weird tree over here. Still, it's an open request from me. If anybody knows what kind of tree this is. It's so silly looking. The one with the kind of mop top. Anybody knows what kind of tree this is and why it looks this way? Middle of the frame right as we speak. More snow. Definite snowflakes. Hopefully some of it's coming across on the camera for you guys. It's really coming down. Oh, that's a good view of the El Dorado. Beautiful. Good to see you, Lucas. Lizzie's visiting in February, hopes for At least a little bit of snow. Adam says it is what it is. It's a mop top tree. It needs a plaque. That's my view. I mean, it does look like it's been trimmed, right? Those are all former limbs. I asked if it was a cell tower once, but I don't think it is. I could be wrong. That's obviously my first guess, Ambrose, but I don't think it is. But like I said, I could be wrong. It is indeed a weird-ass tree. It stops me every time I see it. We may pop into the reservoir one more time just to see if there's any other duck friends nearby. But otherwise, I think our next stop will be Strawberry Fields. And we'll see the lake. Maybe we'll stop by Tavern on the Green at some point. Keep the camera on the El Dorado, such a beautiful building. Sal Muscles is here, good to see you. Enrique's here. S. Fields thinks the other trees probably teased that one. Wonder where all the squirrels go today. Not seeing too many. S. Fields excited to see her namesake. Let's go pop in for just a second. Just see if there's any ducks hanging out right here. Terry's here, good to see you. Lalelu. S. Field says the squirrels are watching Netflix in their tiny couches with cocoa. Ooh, sounds really delightful. And I do apologize, I saw some more messages, but my hands are full. Phone in one hand, umbrella in the other, so I'm not able to scroll. So I apologize if I miss your chat. I'm pointing the camera south, which is normally where we would see the towers of Billionaires Row. What is that sound? Big roar. Huh. It's an odd sound. Had a $5 super chat from Romachek encouraging us to make the chat ever so slightly less family friendly. I've never heard you use such language. As I was saying before, our kiddo has had a sleep regression, meaning he's decided to be wide awake during the night, and we're having a little bit of a crying phase. And I have to say, he's such a good little boy. He rarely cries, so it's he's not even crying by baby standards all that much, but it's way more than what we're used to so far. Which is a long-winded way of saying we're not getting very much sleep. And so my brain is toast, totally fried. But thank you, Adam, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. 5 times over. Jonathan is here. Do we know El Salvador? We are familiar with El Salvador. I've never been, though. Elma's here. Good to see you. So here are some of the beautiful apartments along Central Park West. Gorgeous. Really beautiful. Gettysburg asks, is he teething? We don't think so. It's probably, our sort of best guess is it's all related to the sleep situation, that he just gets overly tired. And he's always fought sleep. He seems to never want to miss hanging out with his exciting mother and father. So he gets sort of overly tired, can't decide if he's hungry or sleepy. And so the obvious solution is to wail. But hopefully just a phase. Fingers crossed. My beautiful wife Lisa is here. I was just talking about our kiddo and our little sleep regression. Lisa can share her her state of mind if she cares to. Lamash too. Nice walk. Hey, thank you. Adam says, do we still have loud neighbors? Well, we think we have finally made some progress. So we had 2 noisy situations. One was after, sort of 11 to 1 in the morning, 11 p.m. to like 1 a.m. Somebody liked to listen to music and watch really loud movies near our bedroom. We think that's finally been sort of coming to an end. Fingers crossed. And we had another neighbor who in the morning decides to do like a Peloton class or something. And I think they're still doing it, but I think the class noise has been turned off. So we just hear the sort of exercise sounds, which isn't great, but it's an improvement. We'll take improvement. Suke says, I'm sure the crying is just a phase. Yeah, I mean, I think it is. Regression around 3 to 4 months is pretty common. So hopefully, and he could be having a growth spurt. I mean, there's like all sorts of stuff that could be going on. It's all part of being a baby. But yeah, if he actually does start to teething at some point, that'll be a really will lose my marbles. Joanne says, in the old days, that was the take them on a car ride phase. Somehow it worked. Yeah, we do our version of that, which is we put him in the stroller and walk him around the park here. And that actually does work pretty well. It's hard to do it all the time, like on a day like this when it's raining and stuff. But yeah, we'll try to do more of that. It definitely helps for sure. Usually takes about half an hour, but then he gets at least 30 or 45 minutes of sleeping and, fresh air. It's all good for him. Ambrose says, growth spurt like the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, I gotta tell you, he's super strong. It's really something, and he likes to sort of headbutt. Ah, the miracles of growing up. Somebody asked if we had a swing. Yeah, that's one of my big tricks. I use that more than Lisa does. We also have a baby Bjorn, which is one of the carriers, which I have to teach Lisa how to use. So far, I'm the expert on that. Should we pop in really quick to the Great Lawn and see if our geese friends are over there? Touring different places is here. My neighbors woke me up last night. They were discussing whether they should take out the trash before it starts smelling. You think? Glorious. Glorious, glorious, glorious. It's the thing about New York that people, you know, we talked about how much New York City apartments cost the other day. And these are some of the amenities, you know, that you might not know about, such as hearing the intimate conversations of your neighbors. And I imagine the trash chute for them is, you know, within 20 feet or maybe 20 yards. And these are the difficult conversations that couples have that only in a New York City apartment do you get to listen in on. Ambrose says, personally, I need white noise fan to fall asleep. Well, we started with, I don't know if everybody knows this, but if you have a home assistant, like a Google Home and anything from Apple, Siri, and Amazon, they all have these sleep noises. Should I be really annoying? And I can turn yours on. You say, hey Google, turn on white noise. So we've been using that. But it turns out that for the sounds from other apartments that we've been dealing with, something called brown noise, I know this sounds absurd, but brown noise has more low sounds, which helps cover up some of the sounds that we hear from other apartments. So I've been figuring out how to play that at night, which is a whole tech project. I wonder how many home assistants with 150 people watching I just turned on. My apologies. Hey Google, stop. I won't do that again, I promise. I might. And I think I saw Lisa saying if anybody's the expert on holding our little one, it's her. This is true. I was merely talking about the baby Bjorn. Here they are. Here's our geese. Look at this. Oh my God, look how many there are. Last time we were here, they all flew away, but they're back. The Google noises are pretty helpful, but I've learned a couple of things. One is they're on a loop that starts over every hour. So if you're a really light sleeper, every hour you'll hear it dip for a second as it restarts. And then I think the other thing is it only plays for something between like 10 or 12, I forget which. It's like 10 hours or 12 hours. So if you want to like get the sound on early, you risk the sound turning off eventually. Look at all the geese. I keep telling you guys, this is Geese Central. Oh, so funny. So funny. They love it here. Some of them are really big. Yeah, gaggles of geeses. Miguel is here. Good to see you. All right, let's head back out. We'll go towards the lake and strawberry fields. Glad we got some honking in. Toronto's here, says snowing in Toronto. Hey, cool. Darlene says my fiance calls them stink birds. Well, if you do enough walking around New York City, you can tell the geese by the presence that they leave behind. You know what, maybe we'll actually pop out of the park for a minute and we'll walk down Central Park West from the American Museum of Natural History to the Dakota. And then we'll head back in to see the Imagine Mosaic and other things. So this is the Great Lawn to our left. If we were to continue left, we would walk right over to the Met, Metropolitan Museum of Art. Straight ahead is Turtle Pond and Belvedere Castle. And this is the Delacorte Theater, where they play Shakespeare in the Park. And thanks to Sal, we have a weather update. Weather for New York City. Conditions are rain with a temperature of 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind is blowing east-northeast at 10 miles an hour. Current humidity 86%. And I'll pause here just for a second because they're trying to find a good place to show you guys, but there are some snowflakes still falling. You might notice that the rain looks awfully chunky today. John PS 30s here. Images are crisp and clear. We're happy to hear it. Yeah, we have the park really to ourselves. I don't want to jinx it, but we have a pretty good connection today. There's very few people out. Turing is anxious for the snow to finally come. Real snow. The Tempest. Romeo and Juliet. Darlene's going to send the snow around. This beautiful little structure are the public restrooms here. They should all look this classy. Gettysburg Ma'am says the Dakota, home to many great stars over the years, like my favorite, Lauren Bacall. Ooh, that's a good one. If you were to follow this path to the left, it would take you to another Shakespeare site, Shakespeare Garden. And then in the middle of the frame, you can see the stairs. That would take you right up to Belvedere Castle. And Adam is taking a quick burrito break. Oh, that sounds good. Anything warm and hearty sounds really lovely today. So we're going to take this path actually out of the park. We'll walk along the little bit of Central Park West, from the American Museum of Natural History, then to the New York Historical Society, down to the Dakota. We'll get a view of the Dakota, and then we'll pop right back into the park at Strawberry Fields. A lot of the New York City, the Central Park Conservancy, what do you call it, maintenance vehicles and stuff is over here, keeping the park beautiful. Gettysburg says, great hot soup day. Last night we cooked pasta with asparagus, sort of aglio e olio, with tons of red chili flake. Turned out pretty well. Lisa's a pretty honest critic, so I think it turned out okay. Yeah, Turing. I always walk the reservoir after it snows And because of the wind and the water there, I always tell people if they recreate any of my walks, you have to be really careful at the reservoir because the path gets icy. It ices over. And in probably every video of me doing that walk after the snow, there's probably at least one part where if you look really closely or listen closely, you could probably hear me slip. Oh, here's snow, serious snow coming down, but again, still too warm. Not gonna stick, but really pretty. Hopefully you guys can see that on the screen now. It's really nice to look at. So we're gonna hang a left here. Oh, this is Diana Ross Playground, one of the best named playgrounds in the park. When we saw Little Amal, if anybody remembers Little Amal, this is the first place we saw her, here at Diana Ross Playground. Stranger Sound is here. Yep, Central Park. But we're gonna pop out for a few minutes, go take a look at Central Park West, and then we'll head back into the park. Nobody coming from any direction. So this is the American Museum of Natural History. Now, we've talked about it a few times, but the Teddy Roosevelt statue was taken down, replaced with a little historical plaque explaining. And they're doing a big expansion of the museum as we speak. Looking forward to visiting again one day and taking the kiddo here. I think he'll probably have a good time there.
But I get the same one for all.
Bestfield says, I wonder if in a few years we'll have a Beyonce playground or an Adele dog park. Really pretty over here, isn't it? So we are now walking down Central Park West, one of the most beautiful stretches in New York City with some of the best architecture. Pause over here at the intersection to show you guys a little more of the building. And you can see how utterly massive the museum is. It really is gigantic. Stranger Sound loves the Big Apple and walk around videos in general. Well, we're a pretty good channel for that, I hope. Do regular walks around New York City. Very happy to have you here. Do have a couple of recorded walks lined up. So for those who like the city sound walks, or a bunch of people have started to tell me that they watch some of the walks when they're using their treadmill. We have Park Avenue and Fifth Avenue coming up. And if you've missed any of our recent ones, I've been doing a bunch of Harlem. One of 125th Street from river to river, and another of East Harlem. So feel free to check those out. And obviously I posted a bunch of stuff from Lunar New Year. Had a really good time exploring the celebrations for the Year of the Rabbit. Larry's here, Museum of Natural History. Been there, it's worth seeing the exhibits there. About a half mile from the Dakota, yeah, that's where we're headed next. Adam is wondering about streaming. Yeah, a lot of the museums really don't like it. And you're certainly not allowed to use selfie sticks or gimbals. So what you sometimes see is people doing it handheld, but I gotta say that's not a very pleasant watch in my experience. It's just too shaky. But as one alternative, the Met has been doing these videotaped openings of different exhibits that are really good. So if you're not able to make it to New York City, or even if you are, but you're just not able to go to the Met all the time, they have a great YouTube channel with openings where they show some of the art, talk about it with some of their experts. It's really cool. This is the New York Historical Society. Their big exhibit right now is I'll Have What She's Having on the history of delis, which I still have not been to because it's just hard to the time I get away from the wife and the kiddo I'm spending with you guys. So I haven't been to the exhibit yet, but I'm really hoping to make it there one of these days. Terry says I did turn on the white noise there. My bad. Yeah, Ambrose, that's probably a use case for the GoPro, but I don't know. I feel like I'd want to just get permission. Oof, loud one. All right, we're just a couple buildings away from the Dakota. Ooh, the wind is really picking up. I'm about to go Mary Poppins on you guys. Suke says the Frick also has some interesting videos. And Larry was saying, yeah, that's from Katz's, yep. When Harry Met Sally. Hysterical. Beach Bum says I have until April 2nd. All right, so I better. Ooh, the wind pulling on my umbrella. We'll see how the gimbal does. That sound you heard was the B&C train beneath us. Took that the other day when I was at, where was I? Somewhere uptown. Here we are, the beautiful Dakota. Art Molina's here, a fan of Katz's. Really pretty, isn't it? Ah, Stranger Sound, that's good to know. It means we're getting recommended out there. Happy to hear that. speaking of, if you guys are enjoying what we do, leave a like, subscribe. Again, this is the Dakota. Life with Saunas here. Good to see you. Gaysburg Ma'am says Dakota's interior equally as beautiful. Well, I'm still waiting for my invitation. Keeps getting lost in the mail. Ooh. Wind is really picking up. We may lose the umbrella soon. We're getting to that point where it's not clear to me that it's helping anymore. Yeah, we may have to ditch the umbrella. Okay. Give me a second. All right. Well, we're going to risk getting more water on the lens, but whatever. We'll figure it out. Walking right now into Strawberry Fields. Oh my gosh, this is the emptiest I've ever seen Strawberry Fields. Oh my God, we're going to get the Imagine Mosaic practically to ourselves. Esfield says, I wouldn't want to follow you on flight radar. Oh my gosh. This is the emptiest I've ever seen it. We are basically now alone in Strawberry Fields. Adam's saying some 15 odd years ago, had a coworker who lived in the Dakota with his parents. Oh God, did your best to try to get inside. That's funny. Stephanie's here, says I think it's because the weather's normally packed when it's sunny out. It's been a long, long time since I've seen it this empty. You know, certainly sometimes over the last couple of years, but to have it basically to ourselves, pretty rare these days. Scott Briggs is here. He was busting out some Beatles on guitar last night. Oh, that's cool. Those are all fun songs. We're going to head back into the park now. I think we're going to go walk by. Can I get a time check from anybody? When did we start? 1:30, 2:30, 2:50. So it should be about 2:45, 2:50. Touring, it says Imagine in the. Let's go see Tavern on the Green, and then maybe we'll take a different path over to. Maybe we'll walk up the mall We basically always go the opposite direction. Sorry if I just moved the mic and made some noise. Apologies. 250. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think we'll go to Tavern. We'll walk up the mall, and then I have to head home and relieve Lisa so that she can have a day of her own. Oh, and I did update the Prism app last night, and one of the updates said that they've supposedly solved the chat issues that we've been having. So fingers crossed that that is true and that the disappearing chat issues are gone. Back on the West Drive, heading to the Tavern on the Green. Walk down a little bit, up the mall, and then we'll see Bethesda. TJ's here. Yeah, Larry, we're going to take a slightly roundabout path to get there. TJ asking, do we stream daily? We do not stream daily, but we try to post daily. So about 2/3 of our videos are recorded walks that I take around New York City. Immersive walks. And the other third are these live streams, but we have a little kiddo at home, so we don't really have a set schedule these days. But in general, we try to stream on the weekend. David Banner's here, good to see you. Last time we were here, we skipped this, so why don't we go look at the memorial? It's really pretty. Oh. Dusty Cole is back. Had to attend to a few things. Hey, good to have you again. Hope all is well, Dusty. How are things in your world? Shiva remembers a rendition of Imagine playing at the 2012 Summer Olympics in London. Bet that was. This is the 7th Regiment Memorial. (1861 to 1865). Civil War. Xfields asks, when do we record our other walks? Yeah, usually to and from appointments, meetings, other things. Basically, anytime I have the time to walk somewhere as opposed to take the subway, I bring a GoPro and let you guys experience real New York City streets. So like yesterday I was doing something at Midtown, so I walked down and then headed home via Park Avenue. So I'll post that soon. Tavern on the Green. Anybody hearing the Ghostbusters theme? Elaine Bonnell's here. Always good to see you. Enjoys all the walks on her TV. Yeah, I think that's, not everybody's able to, but if you're able to watch it on the TV, I think they look pretty good on there. Tavern on the Green. Yeah, we passed by the Giuseppe Mazzini, I think, statue. Kim is here. Kelly is here. Kelly says, how beautiful the buildings are in the clouds. Yeah, when I want to go look at the menu here at Tavern on the Green, and then when we go back in, I'll show you guys again Central Park South, because the towers of Billionaires Row should be visible from here, but are lost in the clouds. Let's see what's on the menu of the day. Prefix dinner, $60. Black bean soup, codfish, chicken breast, short rib, our roasted carrot entree. I guess that's the vegetarian option. That's so funny. Ooh, the homemade pastry basket. That sure sounds nice. Speaking to me. Yeah, let's go around the corner here. Such a lovely little property. Ambrose, do you remember Lamb Chop from PBS? And I'm hoping one day Jess Norell will be on, because I think she was here for Christmas, and hopefully we'll get an update on how the meal was. The section that I'm pointing at, you can see, is glass enclosed. Some beautiful views there. Yeah, the prices are pretty significant. Oh, there's our geese that we saw at the Great Lawn flying above head. Yeah, I mean, for Central Park, you know, nice dining in Central Park. It could be worse for sure. I mean, it's not cheap by any stretch, but it could probably get away with worse. It's probably a tough balance of attracting a lot of folks to eat there year round, like on a day like today. Not easy. All right, we're gonna go around a little bit and then head up the mall towards Bethesda. Adam, is the vegetarian spot, maybe you know, Dirt Candy, is that still open? People used to love the carrots there. But I've never been. These are called the Heckscher Fields, the ball fields. And in the background, you can see Umpire Rock, which on really nice days you'd see covered in people, but probably a little slippery today. And this is kind of the children's end of the park. So there's the ball fields. There's playgrounds everywhere, but obviously there's some here, and the carousel is over here, along with the Woolman ice skating rink. So lots of children's and family activities on the southern end of the park. Lily's here, good to see you. S. Fields advising Adam to share his knowledge with the world. We agree. Still looking forward to your hotel bar reviews channel. All right, let me point the camera south so you guys can see Billionaires Row. The towers are hidden in the sky. Look at that. Monica wishing us a good night from Venice. Ambrose says, 86 Allen Street still seems to be open. Oh, that's good to know. One of these days I'll have to make it down there. I've heard really good things. Isn't that beautiful? Kind of eerie. Imagine being in an apartment up there and not being able to see out your window because you're literally in the clouds. So we're going to make a left at the carousel and circle back north towards the Bethesda Fountain and Arcade. Yeah, the views from here, this path that I'm on right now near the Heckscher Field's never very busy. But if you're a photographer, these are really good views. And there's a little cafe here. So I've never understood why it's not as busy, but and this aptly named the Ball Fields Cafe. I've not been to this one. I'll have to check that out for you guys one day. I walk by it a lot, but I've never eaten there. Probably more of a spring and summer thing. Field says, I don't follow Zagat because I've got... Well, Adam, give us an update on any interesting news about hotels, bars, and restaurants that you'd care to share. I think folks in the chat are always interested in tips on where to stay, where to eat. This is the carousel. Everything closed today. You can cut through right here and take that right over to the Woolman Rink for ice skating, but we're going to go left today. Head up to the mall. All the arches have names. This one aptly named Playmates Arch. Again, we're in the sort of kiddie section. Brad 2030 here. Larry says today would be a good day for a hot chocolate or a cup of coffee. No kidding, I had an espresso before I left. I've had 2 espressos today so far. Making up again for the absence of sleep. And a brisk walk to refresh our head. Hopefully we sound semi-coherent. Amber says nobody's skating anyways. I've noticed here, at least, when it rains, you really don't see anybody, but you do sometimes see people at Bryant Park and some of the other ice skating rinks. But we've noticed recently, these rainy days in the park, it really empties out. Which is nice, we get the place to ourselves. Gettysburg Man, currently sipping a hot tea. Ooh, that sounds nice. Lisa has lots of teas. When she was pregnant, though, that was one of her favorite things, and during the pregnancy she was completely, what do you call it, had an aversion to it. Couldn't drink it at all. And it was one of the first things to go. And she was so upset about it because that was one of her like relaxation rituals. Columbus here on the left. entering different places, heading out. Hey, thanks for being with us. Have a good night. Gregory's Coffee has the best dirty chai, says Adam. Oh my gosh, look at the mall. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 people on the mall. Unbelievable. 4 people on the mall. Sean's having 3rd cup of coffee. Yeah. Sounds like we're all having a little bit of a caffeine boost today. Robert Burns. Larry usually just stops at one of the carts around for coffee. That makes sense. Walter Scott. Brenda says, "This is so nice. I live in a dump." Oh no. And can't walk outside, so this is amazing. Thank you for showing us around. Hey, it's our pleasure. Love getting to share our city with everybody, and this is probably my favorite place to walk, Central Park. Esfield says we should be sponsored by Nespresso. Yeah, that's what we have at home, a Nespresso machine. We had a Keurig for a long time, but I think the quality of the Nespresso is a little higher. Ambrose asking, when did they evacuate Manhattan? We really, it's so funny. Like, look now. Here, let me show you guys. There's one person there. I've never seen it this empty. We've even been here at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and there's more people than this. It's so funny. This is the Women's Rights Pioneers Monument, one of the more recent additions to the park. Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton. The park does have that I Am Legend feel to it today. It's so quiet here. Everybody just decided to stay in and on the couch today. I think the funny thing is, like, my guess is, as folks are sort of called back to the office, things like that, when they get a rainy day, they're sitting on the couch, They're staying in bed, and then they're going to sit on the couch. They're not going anywhere anymore. They miss the work from home days. That's my guess. Leon is here. 21:08 p.m. in Germany. Cammy's here from Dutch. Hey, our good friend Dutch. Everybody go follow Dutch Moz. Maybe one of our mods can leave a link to Dutch's channel. A true New York City institution and character. And this week, if you want to see, as they say, great minds think alike, he and I have both walked the East River, putting our own spins on it. If you want to check that out. His ended, though, yesterday. This was his stream from yesterday, with a truly spectacular sunset over the Statue of Liberty. Stranger Sounds says, why go out when you can do it for us? Exactly. That's my pleasure. Let's turn around. One person. Yeah, Gettysburg, ma'am. We're going to look back on days like this when the park is filled with thousands of people Aus Fly Girl from Austin. Hey, Austin, Texas, I assume. Good to see you. We love Austin, Texas. Breakfast tacos. Naumburg Bandshell looks like a good place to stay dry out of the rain. We're going to walk down the steps here into the Bethesda Arcade, which because of the concrete and everything sometimes buffers a little, so just bear with me. But hopefully there'll be some music in there. If we're lucky, maybe we'll get some music. And I'll show you guys the beautiful Minton tiles on the ceiling. So I'm not going to talk as much since it often buffers in there till I get out of it, but I'll show you guys around. It's also where there's a couple of public restrooms. Adam says the park isn't even this desolate when Gabe is commuting. Because you always have the folks exercising. And there's a handful of them today, but really nothing. All right, let's head down. Let's see how many people are in the arcade today. Up the opera singer. Another person. Yo, Ange, good to see you. John Bader's here. Thanks for being with us. Isn't that beautiful? I snapped a pic of her Instagram and everything, so if you felt moved, please consider following her and leaving a donation. We'll do that later today when I get home. Amazing voice. And so that was the Bethesda Arcade. So this is the Bethesda fountain that we're looking at. Bethesda Terrace right here, and that's the arcade, and those were the Minton tiles on the ceiling in there. And my wife did a little research on them. Apparently that's the only series of Minton tiles on a ceiling. I guess they're usually on the ground. I'm glad she's there, but oof, was probably really hoping to make a few bucks today, and as we can all tell, the park is so empty. So again, if you felt moved by the music, go check some out on Instagram. I screenshotted it, and consider leaving a donation. I'm sure she would appreciate that. So this is the lake. We've seen the reservoir, we saw the pool, and our friend the redhead duck. Yo Ange, have you seen the redhead duck yet? Yo Ange is an amazing live streamer on the Upper West Side, and the pool is kind of her neck of the woods, so I wonder if she's seen the redhead duck. And now we're at the lake. Lots of geese. Oh yeah, and feel free to leave a link to Yo Ange's channel. Adam or S Fields, if you'd be so kind. She and her husband Joe are similar to Dutch, amazing New York City characters. We were just talking about a hot cup of coffee. Made me think of Joe. Again, this is beautiful Bethesda fountain, and it's so funny to have so much of the park all to ourselves. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of the lay of the land. So if you were to walk this path, this is Cherry Hill. There's a fountain up there that's really lovely, and during cherry tree season, this whole thing turns sort of white and pink. It's really beautiful. And then that on the right is the Loeb Boathouse. We're currently waiting for a new operator to take it over because the last one closed. So currently the boathouse is closed for business. So hopefully they'll find a new operator soon. And this is the Ramble. So a kind of wooded area with lots of little trails. Really fun to get lost in, but probably better for folks who have a lot of time or a little more familiar with the park. We're going to start going in a little more to the park. I got to start heading home to relieve my wife Lisa. Lost Fly Girl really enjoyed Bethesda. I think everybody did. So I got a shot of her Instagram and everything. I'll add a comment to that later so folks can check out her pages where I'm sure she has more music. Yo Ange asks, wonder who's going to do the boathouse. Any rumors yet? I haven't heard any. I've been trying to pay attention to it. I haven't heard anything yet. Ambrose in the chat often keeps up to date on that as well in case he has any updates. This is one of my favorite photo spots in the park. Right here. Look at this. Beautiful lake with the San Remo in the background. Ooh, 3:17 p.m. Yeah, I gotta start heading home. Gotta go. Terry Say heading out. Boathouse by Chipotle. To be perfectly honest, that would probably be really popular. I think the only thing I can think of that's similar to that would be like Sarah Beth's, but it's just not high volume enough. But I could see something like a Sarah Beth's there doing pretty well. So I hope they get a new operator, because at the moment it also means the rowboats are closed for business. The good news is they did leave the public restrooms open and accessible, so there are some restrooms right there at the corner. Let's go head down. I think what we'll do is we'll walk quickly quickly by Conservatory Water right here, and then we'll pop out of the park at the Met, and that's where we'll end the stream. So probably like 10 more minutes. And Ambrose was saying that some millionaire wanted to buy it outright, but it sounded like the city shot that down. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to know more about the background, but the city's certainly not going to give it up. They just want somebody to operate it and be able to control some of how it's used and how it looks and so on, I'm sure, because it has to fit the aesthetic of Central Park. Clara asks, what is our favorite coffee place? Ooh, that's a good question. That is a good question. I would say on my walks, I'm not super creative, just kind of find whatever I'm near, depending on the neighborhood I'm in. This is Hans Christian Andersen. I'll tell you though, the best smelling coffee in New York City, oddly enough, is the Ralph's Coffee at 72nd Street and Madison Avenue. On a weekend day, if you walk by there at 10 or 11 in the morning on like a Saturday or a Sunday, it is the best smell in New York City. It is the best smell in New York City. But 95% of the coffee I drink is at home from an espresso machine. And Claire asks, and we are a mod on Dutch. Yes, we are a mod on Dutch Maz's channel. And Dutch and I have met a couple of times on each other's streams, which I try to tag when that happens. Joanne says Ralph's is good. I mean, I cannot tell you how good that place smells on the weekend. When all the, when they got the door flying open and everybody's out there. Oh. For various reasons, I'm not a big Starbucks guy, so you won't really find me at any of those. This is the Alice in Wonderland statue here, the Margarita Delacourt Memorial. We saw the Delacourt Theater. We often see the Delacourt clock at the zoo. But what was I saying? So yeah, I often just go to the place, kind of wherever I've walked to. So, Blue Bottle, Bluestone Lane, things like that. And my wife has become a huge fan and proponent of the espresso martini craze that's going on. I'm trying to think what her favorite espresso martini is, but I can't think of it at the moment. Leela's here, good to see you. And I saw Marty. Good to see all of our friends today. We're in the home stretch here. We're going to pop out of the park in a few minutes at the Met, which is where we'll end the stream. I got to head home, relieve my wife so that she can have an afternoon while the sun is still out. Not much sun, but before sunset, I guess I should say. Lisa is in the chat. La Lanterna, which is one of our date spots in the Village on McDougal Street. One of my favorite restaurants for years now. I've been going there since, I don't know, as long as I've been in New York. Almost 20 years. Ambrose says, I don't like coffee, often shunned by society. I didn't like it either for a long time, but when you have to replace, the caffeine from soda at a certain point in your life, I learned, at least to a degree, to appreciate it. Muhammad is here. NYC, my dream. Hey, hope you make it. I'm pointing the camera to my left. This is Cedar Hill, which I've told you guys many times. There's an owl in there somewhere, and it is like a dream of mine to snap a photo of the owl, but I don't know really how to spot them. So my plan is to find photographers one day and just follow them. But no photographers today, and I don't hear any hooting. Lisa says, I'm just happy that after, what did you say? After reheating it 4 times, you're finally enjoying your first cup of coffee. So she's having a really relaxing time at home with the kiddo. Reheating that first cup of coffee 4 times. Well, I was telling them, even after 2 espressos today, when I got things set up, I had the phone in one hand, my umbrella in the other, and somehow only put 1 glove on. So it's going great. Adam says now he wants an espresso martini, and according to him, the best is at Bar Felice. Oh, Lisa and I had some of our early dates at Felice. Maybe not that specific one, but there's a few around the city. All right, let's say goodbye to Central Park. Ahead of us is the Ukrainian Institute of America, which at night gets lit up in the colors of the Ukrainian flag. And I've told you guys a million times before, the Via Albertine, which has a French language bookstore and the most amazing ceilings you've ever seen in New York City. Let's see if we can cross without getting run over by a cab. Success. Like, go on Google Images and type in the Albertine bookstore ceilings. Stunning. Norman Ross, good to see you. Lisa said it only took 2 hours of negotiations, but finally has a sleeping baby. Yeah, I had that this morning at 5 a.m. after being up a bunch of times other than that, as was Lisa. As I was saying, he's had some sleep regression, which seems to be a sort of common thing right about his age. Super fun. And you know it's a bad day out when none of the vendors are here. It's so funny. Real zombie city today. So this beautiful pathway takes you to the Met, my favorite museum in the city. You could spend days and days and days here and never see everything. And I would say every time Lisa and I come here, we find something we've never seen before. And we've been a million times. All right, my friends, coming to an end. Or rather coming to the end, just about at the 2-hour mark. Nice rainy and snowy day, although it didn't stick because it's too warm here in Central Park. We saw our redhead duck. We saw a bunch of the bodies of water, lots of wildlife. We saw the geese on the Great Lawn. We saw the Dakota. We had the Imagine mosaic to ourselves. That is like super rare. We had the mall and literary walk almost to ourselves. And we had, towards the end there, some absolutely stunning music in the Bethesda arcade. So I think this was a pretty successful day a nice relaxing walk. I hope you guys enjoyed. Beyond the Light, Identity in Place in 19th Century Danish Art. That sounds good. And over on this side, the Black Potters of Old Edgefield, South Carolina. I can't wait to see that. So thanks to everybody who was hanging on out with us today. Big shout out to S. Fields and Adam helping to moderate. My beautiful wife Lisa for looking after the kiddo, taking 2 hours the entire stream to get him to go to sleep. Lisa, Brendan, Brenda, John Bader, Chris MG, hey, enjoying the last 5 minutes. Darlene, Norman, Kelly, Cami, Larry, Dusty Cole, Johnny, everybody new and old who hung out with us today. We loved spending this time with you. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We do regular walks all around New York City. I got Park Avenue and Fifth Avenue coming up soon, probably over the next couple of days, and then we'll try to go live again sometime this weekend. Never know when we're going to go live because life happens. But loved hanging on out, and we'll see you all again real soon. Signing off from here in New York City. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you again real soon. Cheers.